Welcome along, folks. Record. That's what tonight's about. Just for the sake of recording people here, it's about how do we break out of a rut? How do we hit reset? How do we get going? How do we keep going? Is that going to be useful for you? Um, Appreciate you watching the podcast. Thank you. Is that going to be useful? That's what it's about. I'm not going to be going into depth and detail about, oh, here's how to reset your nervous system. We've done so much of that. We've got so much free content out there showing you how to do that. The question is, why don't we do that? Why don't we do what we know? Why don't we do the stuff? And that's what I'm going to help you answer tonight. Like I said, you're not broken in any way because you can't make change happen. Change is hard. And most of the advice and most of the processes out there are shite. That's why the coaching business, coaching world, people are going out of business left, right, and center because too much poor stuff out there. It's great news for you because hopefully the cream rises to the top, right? You're not lazy, you're overloaded with information everywhere. You are misdirected. And for most of us, we're running on fumes. Life is busy, life is stretching us, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. All right. Mm, You know, you, hey, if you're here, you should know all this stuff. But for us, we coach over 200 people a month now in paid formats, in helping people. We just ran a big event in Manchester, which is our biggest of the year, with some great speakers. Um, People flew in from all over for that, across the UK, across Ireland, across Scotland to get to Manchester and do our stuff, which was amazing. And what we do is pretty effective. It's not perfect. People say, will it work for me? It works for people who put it to work and keep putting it to work. Just to give you some confidence in that, our churn is 2% this year. And churn is how many of your membership leave. It's very easy to leave our membership. 2% of people leave us a month. The industry average is 10 to 12%. World class is apparently 5%. Well, we operate at 2% because we give a shit, we care about our people, and we're good at what we do. We're not perfect, but we're trying to be effective. All right. And so what we do is effective for the people who work it. That's what I will say. And so tonight is my experience. Roughly 108 people this month have said, "Can we work with you?" That's some of that. Some of that's you. Some of those people are you. Hey, can I get the information? We send it you. You ghost us. You think about it. You come in. You come out. I'm talking to you tonight a lot in a nice way. I want you to feel challenged in a good way, because I'm trying to help you. While you keep coming and going and coming and going and coming and going. And so I want to be helpful. I want to be effective. I'm just going to show you why, in my experience, people don't get going and can't keep going. All right. Now, that being said, is everybody ready for that? We're going to be 40 minutes. Is it going to be useful? At the end, like I do in all my webinars, pure transparency, I'm going to give you the option to join our academy. Our academy is £99 a month. It's cancel any time. It's really effective. You get loads of cool shit. If you want to stay around for that and see, a lot of you've seen the information already. But if you want to see, we've got a bit of a cool bonus to give away tonight. We're going to give you a couple of free courses if you sign up. We're going to give you a couple of free books if you sign up, our brand new journal if you sign up. But it's only open until Tuesday because we're going to give you guys a nudge and say, come on, no more time to be waiting. Time to jump in. Is everybody ready? There's 50 odd of you here. Everyone good to go? Everyone ready to rock and roll? Come on, pop it in the comments. Let me know. I want to see something. And let's flip and get to it. You know what I mean? Right, I'll bring my iPad up. Just let me know you can see my iPad. Not yet. I don't know if you know this, but Waitrose have changed their lids on their bottles, freaking me out. I just need to put that out there. Killing me. Perfect. So, can you see my whiteboard? Just somebody let me know. If you can't, don't be like, oh my God, I can't. If a couple of you can see it, that's good enough for me. It tells me it's there. Brilliant. If you can't, play around on your screen somewhere. Don't bombard the chat. Right. So, I'm talking tonight about one thing in particular. All right. Let's see where you're at. It's a concept I call the gray zone. All right. I want to be that very clear. If you divide people up into three categories, which isn't, you know, what people are, by the way, we're just doing this for the sake of tonight. there is in this world, you're trying to make something happen. If you're like most of the people who join us, you think, man, I don't know who I am, where I'm going, what I want out of life. Or you're like, God, I'm completely burnt out. I'm fried. I'm exhausted. I've got nothing in the tank. I feel like I'm running on empty. Or mentally, oh, I'm in chaos. I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed. I'm struggling to focus, struggling to think. Can any of you relate to any of that? I'm hoping if you're here, you can. That's why you're here following me. But that's why most people join us. And you're not in that high performance realm yet. I work with high performers, what you consider high performers, people at the top of their industry, be it business, sport, etc. You're not in a high performance range, but you're not ill either. And I think that's really important to know. You know, we don't work with clinically ill people. The odd person might come through is clinically ill alongside another service they're using. But I'm not talking directly to clinically ill people. And I don't mean that like, oh, you know, because you're in a bad spot. I just mean that's not who we're dealing with. Most people are in what I call the gray zone. You're not absolutely life's falling apart and you can't function and you're not doing anything and you're in like I need to be sectioned for the next 2 years. My mum was sectioned, by the way, for a long time, so I'm not mocking that. You're not in the high performance realm. You're in that gray zone. And the gray zone is that state between burnout and breakthrough. You're lost. And you're thinking, who am I? Where am I going? Like I said, you're exhausted, you're flat, you're foggy, you're functioning, but you're not fulfilled. You're surviving, you're not thriving to be cliched. You're just coping in there. You're just treading water. And the gray zone is the most dangerous place for me because if you look round, no one talks to the gray zone. Social media talks to the high performer or tries to, the influencers about making more money, more time off. And we do that training, by the way. But that's not what this is about. It's about the CEO morning routine and it's like high performance stuff, supposedly. I'm being sarcastic there. And you're not there. People talk to them. People talk to ill and the medical industry and we work alongside many clinical practitioners, by the way. I think it's useful to do that and have a signpost for people. And I will signpost people that way as a business if we need to. But you don't need clinical intervention. You're just stuck not being spoken to. You look fine on the outside, but on the inside, things are not working. And we shame ourselves. We should know better. Oh God, I should be more grateful. Things ain't so bad. And you get in this pattern where you think you just need this one nugget of information. I know, I've been there. My life wasn't catastrophically mentally ill. I was stuck in this place like, this ain't working for me. This ain't what I want, but I can't get out of my own way. I'm anxious, no self-control, destructive patterns, afraid to death of going after what I want, not happy in my work. And people stall here for years, for decades. Maybe life to you, and you just, I don't know who I am. Maybe it's same Groundhog Day, like, how did I end up here? But the gray zone is dangerous because eventually the gray zone ends up there for most people and we get pigeonholed in that world. And then we go, oh, talk therapy didn't work for me, or this didn't work for me. It's like, yeah, because it was the wrong intervention. It's not a bad intervention. I've used it. It's useful, but it was the wrong intervention at the wrong at the wrong time for an individual. And so this zone, it mimics depression and failure. But really, there's three major problems in that gray zone. And I would bet most of my life savings, if you're listening to me, following me, these are the problems you're going to have. Problem number one, and we've touched upon them, but to be clear, you have no idea who you are anymore and where you are going. And that feels like you're lost. And that's a horrible place. It breeds anxiety and overwhelm because we feel vulnerable. We don't know who we are. We have kids and we think, God, who am I now? We lose people in our life and we grieve like, God, what's going on here? We lose jobs. Kids grow up, fly the nest. We hit 40, we hit 30, whatever it is. I tell you something, it doesn't matter if I speak to someone in their 20s and they think, oh, I don't know where I'm going in life, or I speak to somebody in their 70s. It's like, God, I don't know where I'm going in my life anymore. It's a universal thing. and we get given poor advice, and we'll cover that. The second one is like, I'm not quite sure why I've put C there. I think that's meant to be a two. It's been a long week. Is God, I am burnt out. And a lot of anxiety, you've heard me say this. A lot of anxiety is burnout. A lot of low mood is burnout. You are exhausted. Your central nervous system, this thing that runs you, is fried, absolutely fried. And that breeds all these symptoms. And these symptoms are what people try and treat. But the real problem is a nervous system that is not working. It's overloaded with chronic stress and it can't cope anymore. And the third problem you're going to have there is you've got this mind that you is working against you. Well, it feels like, yeah. It's like not working for you. It's overwhelmed all the time. It's distractive. It's negative self-talk. You put yourself off things. You live in this fearful future. You live in a painful past. And these three problems are what exist in the gray zone. They're not medical problems. They're like, shit, how do I sort this out? And there I'm going to bet my last dollar, if I was American, that that is the issues we're facing. And we're given the wrong advice. And I'm reiterating this before I get into the meat of this session, because I have spent the last 12 years coaching people in this position and high performance, but passionate about the gray zone. And, all of a sudden people are trying to be in the 5 a.m. club. And they think and then you beat yourself up because you can't keep it up. But your nervous system, when it's fried, is never going to allow you to be in the 5 a.m. club if that's not the way you live. Then we set these huge 90-day goals and challenges, but without emotional clarity or the bandwidth mentally, we fall apart after week 8 or 9, if we're lucky. And oh, I can't make change happen. But we try and stack 500 new morning habits. You got to get up and do the cold and the heat and the sunshine, and you turn into Andrew Huberman, which is great. But when your nervous system is fried, you can't make it happen. When your mind is always overwhelmed, it overwhelms you even more. So many habits that we try and get into to improve our lives, for a lot of people, add more overwhelm and stress than they remove. And so we try and be more disciplined. Ah, the discipline crew. You need to stop letting yourself down and be disciplined. Hey, but discipline without nervous system regulation becomes punishment for most people, 10x your goals. We've heard it all. And still we can't move forward. And so, with all this info out there on how to figure out who you are, just type into ChatGPT, create me a burnout recovery plan, and it will throw some shit at you. It won't be great, but it'll be done in 20 seconds. The info's there. Hey, help me figure out who I am. The info's there. Like I said, we give away 5-day reboots, 5 days of my time to try and move people forward. People keep coming. Many of you come back, come back, come back. Another reboot, without really moving forward from there. Free apps, 30-day resets, and to try and help you move forward. Burnout PDFs. Here's a 14-day burnout PDF, which is really effective. But what then? What do we do? And so the real reason that you're stuck is not a lack of information. It's that three things need to grow. And before I get there, is this hitting home? And you're like, shit, that sounds like me. The gray zone, these issues, like the, the keep picking things up and trying them. Who can relate to that? Ain't going to be all of you, but I'm not talking to all of you. I'm talking to that specific person who I've just said. Who can relate to that? Let me know if you're like, yeah, this makes some sense. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's three things in my experience that have to grow. All right, let's move across. Because tonight, I'm not going to bombard you with information. Here's another breathing technique. Here's another little morning routine. I'm not going to do that. That's not what this is for. But you've seen me draw this before. I always say, you want to change something. What is one thing you really want to change in your life right now? Have interest. Just put one word. If August, if there was be one word that you'd want more or less of in August, what would it be? We're in August now, at the time I'm recording. If I said to you, hey, what do you want August to be about? Go on, surprise me. I want more positivity, I want more energy, I want more clarity. I want to get a life direction. Love it, Casey. Some calm, some focus, inner peace, productivity. I hear, right? Well, to make that happen, there's a gap here. There's a gap between where you are and what you want. And if you don't think there's a gap, then there is. Trust me, if you're here, there's a gap. You're like, I'm here, I'd rather be here. And what is that gap? For many of you, you'd say, well, the gap is I just need to work harder. The gap is I need to be more disciplined. The gap is, I just need to get consistent, Si. That's the gap, that's what's stopping me. You know, well, I just need to figure out, what to do. I just need to go back to that plan I used to have, yada, yada, yada. But there's three things that I know. It's not more information. It's not more accountability. They're going to keep you stuck, all right? The first thing that has to grow is your mindset. Number one, write that down. We have to grow our mindset. And there's a statement I want you to think about, which is true mindset work challenges what you think about you and your life. So you need to grow your mindset in either how you view yourself or how you view your life. It has to change. You can't keep thinking the same and expect to change. It ain't going to happen. It's impossible because the way you think drives your behavior, yada, yada. But the way you think right now has got you to point A. The way you think right now is your point A prism. And true mindset work is not about being fluffy and positive. I'm sure tonight some of you will be like, shit, I feel challenged. I feel called out on what I believe, and that's good. Good mindset work should challenge what you think. It should make you try and think, and you might resist that for a while and think he's full of shit, or that's not what it is. That's not it. But I want to try and be useful, and I know the best way to be useful is to say, hey, if you're going to move and change these things in your life, if you're going to escape the gray zone, then you need to get clear on who you are. You need to overcome burnout, and you need to get your mind working for you. That's the three things you must do if you want to create change. But in order to do those things, you've got to grow that mindset. You've got to challenge some stuff. And some of the things you can challenge right now that I hear over and over again every week, my team hears. Sorry, it's not the right time. I can't get to work on this stuff right now. I'm just too busy. Life's chaotic at the minute. I'm in a bad place, so I'm in a bad place. I can't do that thing of yours, which is going to help me get in a good place because I'm in a bad place. I'm really busy at work. I'm too busy to stop and slow down. And we use this never the right time. We use them, and they're not excuses. They're reasons because sometimes life is busy and life is stressful. Yada yada yada. I get it. I've got three kids under five, some businesses, some ill parents. I get it. But the very reasons you give for not doing it need flipping to become the reasons you want to do it. You need to do it. When I ran a boot camp back in the day, people used to say, "So I'd love to come to your boot camp." Great. I just need to get a bit fitter before I come. What? It's like, that doesn't make sense. The boot camp's to get fit. Yeah, but I just want to get a bit fitter first. No, no. You'll come in because you want to get fit. You haven't been able to get fit on your own. This is the thing that's going to get you fit. Why are you delaying it? But that is human behavior. We push away change. Our mindset says this is uncomfortable. Let's push it towards the future. It's never the right time, people say, but it's always the right time. If you feel pulled to do something, it's like, wow. If you are busy, now is the right time to start something that helps you slow down. If you are in a bad place, now is the right time to start something that gets you in a good place. If your life is hectic and stressful, brilliant. Now is the time to start changing that. It's always the time. But we have this mindset that keeps us stuck, that it needs to be the perfect time or that you need to be in the perfect place. It's never coming. And I see so many people looping around the same stuff, because you're waiting for this magical, mythical time when it's going to happen. But it's fear, it's delay, and it's killing you. It's crushing your momentum. It doesn't matter what more information passes your screen. It doesn't matter if the perfect breathing exercise wanders by now. Nothing changes until this changes, until we action it. And that mindset's a killer. So is I need to figure this out on my own. I've heard that 500 times this year. Plus, yeah, I'm just going to figure this out on my own. And I'm very kindly, and I mean it nicely, say, how long have you been trying to figure it out on your own? Yeah, a few years to be fair. Well, you're going to waste a few more years of your life? Really? It ain't happening. But it's because as society, we don't like to put our hand up. We look for reasons to quit rather than look for help, rather than saying, hey, I need some help here. That's that's a useful way. But we have this mindset around help, which is you ask for help, you're failing. No, if you ask for help, you're clever. Or you convince yourself it's not that bad. I see people do it all the time. Ah, things ain't so bad, could be worse. A couple of years later, still in the same position, peddling water. And so I want you to think mindset wise, if you're going to reset, and this is what this session is about, it's not more information coming into your world that's going to help you reset. It's holding your hand up to yourself and saying, I need to own my shit here. And I need to write down every reason that I'm giving myself for not starting something, for not moving forward, why it's different for me. It's different. I used to think that, it's different for me, though, because this, because of this, because of this. And that's great. But we spend so much energy defending the reasons we can't start. When if we took that energy into finding ways to start, we would be moving. And so that's something useful you can do. Excuse me. You can write down every reason right now, tonight, that you've given yourself for not starting, and then flip each one. Ask yourself, this is the reason I have to start. People, before I had kids, I used to say, look, kids aren't the reason to not do something. People, oh, but my kids need me. And I said, they're the reason to do something. People used to say, well, Simon, you haven't got any kids. Here's that kids card that everyone plays. But you haven't got any kids, yeah. Well, now I've got loads of them and they're all under 5. And I'm like, so I can say it even more effectively, if that's a reason not to do something, that's a reason to do something, trust me, you know? And so flip your mindset. Write it down. Be honest with yourself. Hold yourself to account. I did this with myself last week about something. I wrote down every reason I was given to not pull the trigger on something. And as I looked at it, I realized everyone was a reason to pull the trigger. Otherwise, nothing was going to change. This will happen no matter where you are in life. You'll cling to comfort and you'll cling to it with your stories, your justifications, and your reasons. But I know some of you watching this, and I've heard the same justifications and stories and reasons for years. And I don't mean that as an attack. I mean that as an honest nudge from someone who gives a shit that you actually end those problems. You know, like that is the kindest thing to do. So the first one is grow. We've got to grow our mindset. Tools, hacks, skills at this point don't matter. However, the second thing that needs to grow is our skill set. Sometimes we just don't have the skills. I was talking to my friend about this the other week about starting a business, being good at your job and then taking it and starting a business. And I was saying the thing is, you've got to learn a lot more skills. It's not the best person at their job which has the best business, because businesses are like about a lot more. You might have to learn to market, to sell, to manage cash flow, to create stuff, to talk, communicate, to lead, to manage your time. There's a whole load of skills that you need to do that you might not have. Now, with skills, you've got to ask yourself, do I know what to do to solve my problem? Ask yourself right now, do I know what to do? If I know what to do, can I do it consistently? Now, if you don't have what you want, one of those is missing. You either don't really know what to do, which is fine. I have to ask people what to do all the time, in lots of areas of my life. And if I do know what to do, can I do it consistently? And so when it comes to skill set, it's not always a mindset issue. It's, do I know what to do? Do I know how to get clear on who I am and where I'm going? Do I know how to regulate my nervous system and strengthen it so I'm no longer burnt out? Do I know how to focus my mind and avoid distractions? Do I know how to calm my mind? Do I know these things? If you're like, yeah, I do know some stuff, well, am I able to do it consistently? And that might be, oh, I can't do it under pressure, I can't, when life gets busy, it sort of falls apart. Or if something happens, that's a common one. Like I'm doing all right and something happens and then I fall apart. Then we have a I cannot do it consistently problem. And you've got to be honest with yourself about that. And I would, while I'm here, there's three real things I'd love you to prioritize if you're in the gray zone. All right. These are three massively crucial skill sets to master. They're the three skill sets that I teach everybody in our academy, in High Performance Mind, whatever it is, one-to-one stuff we do. It's like we're trying to do three things consistently. All right. So think about this. The first one is a great skill set is how do you strengthen your nervous system? How do you overcome burnout? And I'll call it the CNS just to because I can't bother to write it now. Right here. What I mean by that is, can you build the capacity in a nervous system to overcome burnout? You've got to prioritize burnout if you're in the gray zone. Trust me. Like I said, I'd bet my last pound on it. It's an issue. And with that, it's stuff like, can you do little daily micro nervous system releases, stuff like that to lower stress throughout your day? Do you know how to just kick stress out during your day without losing your shit at somebody? It's breath and body tools, stuff like that. It's, can you do little nervous system resets? So many of us are carrying the weight of our past daily, the emotional charge of our past, the failures, the setbacks, the traumas, the issues, and the body holds those. They're stored and they're clogging up your nervous system and they're causing you to be tired and exhausted and reactive. If you're looking at having great energy and motivation, and then you think, God, I need to clear my junk out of my nervous system, you know, I need to learn how to like sort of micro reset my nervous system in the day. And I need to learn how to stack energy principles that ramp me up and, in the morning and calm me down at night so I can get good sleep. Like this is such an important skill set. Having kids now, what are you going to teach your kids? It's like, yeah, to build a healthy nervous system, how to just regulate in a useful way. And they're things that need to be built in and learn. And when you've got them and when you have integrated them, wow, your life will change. But you can't just think your way into better well-being or a better mindset. It ain't going to happen. And so you've got to strengthen your nervous system so you can think clearly, stay emotionally steady, and stop defaulting to stress patterns constantly. And I've given away so much stuff on that. Burnout PDFs, 5-day sessions where we get started. And so the second thing is, can you build a vision? It's a skill to have. Can you think beyond where you're at, point A, and get into point B? If you cannot see beyond your current place, then you will not move forward. And that's one reason I love community. We had an event in Manchester on the weekend, and people are around other people, and they're like, wow, these people are doing this or aren't doing that. And it gives you a bit of hope. And, you know, I love my family, but when I got out and started getting around people doing things in health and fitness, in business and financial, in like looking after themselves mentally, I was like, whoa, I didn't realize people did this stuff. I thought you were just how you are. I thought I was just who I am. And I was stuck. Then I got around other people and I was like, God, like other people are doing other stuff, you know? And you see other possibilities. Now, I'm not saying you have to change your social surrounding. What I'm saying is the ability to see beyond where you're at is so crucial. And there's a few things. It's how do you clarify what matters most to you? That's a skill in this season of life. You're in a different season right now. I don't know what season that is. I don't mean like nature. We're pretty much all in summer still in England, which is a rarity, you know. I mean, maybe you're in a season where you're dealing with a lot of shit right now. Maybe you're in a season where, you've just come through a lot of shit and you're looking to like rebuild. Maybe you're in a season where you're like, wow, everything's a bit flat and I'm looking to reinvent myself. Maybe you're in a season where you go, "Well, I haven't got much on." Maybe a season you got loads on. But you're in a different season and everyone goes through these seasons in life. And it's knowing how to clarify what is important and what you want and who you are. That's such an important skill. Again, you can do a few breathing techniques and jump in some flipping cold showers, and these are great things. But if you don't know who you are and what you want and where you're going, none of that really matters. It might help you figure it out. It might give you energy to do it. But who are you? What are you about now? And how do you shift your identity? How do you evolve your identity so you see yourself in a better way, your self-view? Like that's a huge thing. Transformation is an identity change. You don't think about yourself in the same way. You don't become somebody else, you become more of you. You're never going to turn into somebody else. You're going to turn into more you. That's what transformation does. A good friend of mine is a very wealthy man. He said, money makes people more of who they are. If you're a dick, you'll be a bigger dick. If you're a good person, you'll probably be a bigger good person. That is transformation. It makes you more of who you are. I don't mean it makes you a bigger dick. I mean, it makes you more of who you are. You're not going to be like me or somebody else. That's not the idea. And so vision building is a skill. And you may say, I haven't got those skills. I don't know who I am or where I'm going. And I can't clarify what season I'm in. I haven't really got tools to figure out what I want. I'm going on the old goal setting stuff. Goals and visions are different. Goals are when you have a vision of who you are and what you want, and then you break it down into something, measurable. But don't end with goals. The vision is the bigger picture. And it's so important that you need an idea of who you are and what you want out of life. And you can practice that. You can learn that, you know. And the third skill I would say is just the skill to build a mind that works for you. And again, I've run so many things and sessions where given tools to try and help a mind work for you. But it's how do you do that consistently, right? Your modern life is noisy. Modern life is full of distractions and your attention's being pulled everywhere. If you're not in charge of your attention and what you put it on, it's at the mercy of every shiny object, fearful thing, every distraction. And so we want to build a mind that works for us. That's a skill. It's not just reading about mindset. It's not just listening to podcasts. That's learning. It's how do I harness my attention? How do I remove overwhelm when my mind starts getting overwhelmed? How do I anchor my attention to what's important? Like, there's an attention problem across the world right now. Everyone's got a deficit in their attention for the most part, and it's because nobody teaches us to master our attention. So instead of training our mind, we fight our mind. We, we fight against it all day. My social media, probably because I'm a bloke, probably is full of people telling me to get control over my mind, to keep my mind, to beat it. I beat your mind today. What an exhausting, draining practice to wake up and fight the most powerful thing on the planet, your own mind. We're taught to try and control it rather than use it. And that keeps people stuck. So the real skill set is how do I build a mind that works for me? How do I use my mind? And these are the skill sets that everyone here should be practicing. And every bit of content you see from me is about this. And so if you look at what I'm saying, hey, you're probably in the gray zone. Most people said, yeah. If you're in the gray zone, I can guarantee you're a bit lost, you're a bit burnt out, and your mind's all over the shop. Yeah. And you probably know loads of stuff you can do. Yeah. But you're not doing it. Yeah. And that's because in order to do that stuff, you need to challenge your own mindset. You need to challenge the things you tell yourself, the reasons you can't start, the reasons it's different for you. You need to challenge them and say, no, 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 you're the reasons I need to do something. And then we go, hey, look at our skill sets. Well, actually, forget all the noise out there. Your number one priority should be how do I strengthen my nervous system? How do I build a vision? And how do I build a mind that works for me? Let's train those three things. Forget everything else. They are the three things. And the third problem in that gap, which needs to grow. Now, I've used two words here interchangeably. At our event on Saturday, I was saying to people, look, we need to grow some balls. And what I mean by that really, in my, misogynistic language, is courage. If you don't have a mindset problem, if you don't have a skill set problem, I guarantee you've got a courage problem. And what I mean by that is we're avoiding making decisions. Some of you will be avoiding decisions constantly, and they will keep playing out in your mind and you'll become overwhelmed. Some of you are not committing to yourself. You are half in, half out. I'm very clear about that. If you keep repeating our stuff and not moving forward with us, it's probably shit, I'm half in, half out, you know? And half in, half out gets half results. As my old assistant used to say, don't half-ass it, always use your whole ass. It sort of stuck with me. It makes no sense. But she's like, don't half-ass it, use your whole ass. You know, but it's true. It's like, shit, I'm not making decisions. I'm putting shit off. I know what to do. I'm just lacking commitment. And refusing help goes down there. You know, I spoke to somebody this week about this and I was just being really nice. And I said, look, you keep telling me about £99. I appreciate it. I get that. Like, but you're more bothered about saving £99 and in the process wasting 5 years of your life trying to figure out how to solve this than letting us help you for £99. If you haven't got it, you haven't got it. But most people have. But it's quite a nice justification to not do something. And he's like, God, I'm going to refuse to invest in myself to save this money, but I'm going to waste another 3 years of my own well-being. It's not a trade I'd be willing to make personally, and at whatever stage of my life. But sometimes it's a courage to commit. And so I'm trying to reframe one big problem for you here tonight. And it's this: you are not stuck at point A because of a lack of information. You're not stuck at point A for a lack of opportunity. We give them all the time in free things. I can quite happily sit here tonight and challenge a lot of behaviors because I'm confident that I have we do roughly 6 5-day challenges a year, right? That's 6 weeks of free training for people, 6 weeks of our lives given away for free. Going here, I'll do some stuff. You have 30-day challenges, thousands of pounds in apps. I'm happy that we do enough for people so I can challenge these beliefs tonight, which is some shit needs to change and it's here. It's a skill set or it's a courage issue, not an information issue. And until you challenge yourself on those, you stay stuck. And I mean it with the most love and honesty under the sun. That is what keeps people stuck now. And so we got to start moving. You need a system that allows you to do these things, a structure that holds when life gets messy, not when everything's perfect. And that is why we run things like the Academy. It's why we run things like High Performance Mind. So we can show you how to do this and give you the support and give you the steps, but we need you in there to be able to do it. Is this making some sense? It's like a mindset challenge, which is three things. Write down your reasons for not, challenge them. Ask yourself, is it I don't know what to do, or is it I just can't do it consistently? Like locate what the problem is. Is it I am making zero bloody decisions? I am putting things off. I am not willing to take a risk on my life. I'm not willing to make a mistake. And so subsequently, I just stay stuck. And that can be about absolutely anything. What have you heard me say? Come on. What have you heard me say? Let me have a drink of water while I zoom out, because that's not a bad drawing for me. There's five perfect stick men there, although none of them look that happy, I will say. Give me one thing, and then I'm going to walk you through how you can join our academy for 30 days. Um, you don't have to stay for that. Then I'm going to do some Q&A because I've got some time, because the academy walkthrough takes me 5 minutes. And I'll do some Q&A at the end, and I'm happy to answer any questions about anything and try and help you and give you some value about this. Nice. I like it. This is it. Yeah, I'm all three. Yeah, brilliant. Me, I've been all three. And this is a cycle. Every time you change something in life, every time you go and move through progress, you'll need to, grow some more courage, grow some skill set, grow some mindset. That's how it works. It's not one and done. I spoke about this at the event with a friend of mine. I was like, when I had nothing to lose, when I had nothing, right? Nothing. And I've had nothing. I've had less than nothing. I'm not going to tell that story. I told it at our event. I risked a lot then because I had nothing to lose. Yeah, when you're doing all right, the people who don't have the money generally invest with us because they're like, oh, fuck it, I've got no money, whatever. People who've got a bit but don't want, they struggle too because they don't want to, oh, I've got a bit. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes when you've got a life that's all right, you don't risk. So growing courage happens at every part of the journey because we get comfortable where we're at. Skill set happens at every part of the journey. If you want something new, you have to learn some new skills somewhere because change is uncomfortable. And mindset has to change. You can't keep looking at things the same way. I let other things take over, yeah. Flip the mindset. I hear you. I like it. So that being said, I'm going to walk through Academy for 5 minutes. We got a cool little offer for you. Um, it's open till Tuesday. Many of you here have been people who've messaged me this week saying, I'd like some information about your academy. You've been sent it. And it's funny how you always ghost me when we follow you up, but you turn up on here. You ghosters, you. So I'm going to walk through it for 5 minutes. You can stay for that if you're interested in seeing what it looks like to work with us. Stay for that. I'll show you a quick slide and talk you through it, tell you what you get. Um, Darren's always laughing about something. If you're not interested, go do something else. That's not a problem. And I'm gonna do some Q&A at the end. Everyone ready to see it? Everyone happy? Everyone ready to rock and roll? Just say, yep, no problemo. I want to see it. And I'll figure out how to share this screen. Yeah, cool. So I suppose what we're saying is, look, we need a system. Um, you're not in some way fundamentally flawed. You need a system. You've probably been here because you've asked us about it before. You don't need more pressure, you need a structure. And I would put good money again. I keep saying that, but I'm confident in what we do. That over the next 30 days, if you came in and just said, look, I'm going to do 30 days, we could get you moving out of burnout. We could get you clear on who you are. And we could get you moving towards building a calm, focused mind. It's not a standalone 30 days. It's a rolling 30 days. You set up and like a membership, you cancel at any time. Most people stay for a long time, but you don't have to. There's no pressure to stay. We don't pressure people to stay. That's not our style. People want to stay because they want to stay. But I want you to feel that result. We can get you out of burnout. We can get you clear on who you are, and we can get you moving forward because we're going to teach you the skills, help you challenge your mindset, and we're going to help you build some courage. And the full offer really is the following. I've got a slide for you because I think that is easier. I'm going to bring it up, but I want to show you what you get so you know. All right, here it is. You have to excuse me. If you've been to the event, you'll know that tech is not really my thing. Right. So here's what you're going to get. Everyone see that. You can see the whole thing, but just let me know and I'll talk you through it. See that? Yeah, cool. So when you roll in, you get a one-to-one kickoff call, right? That's with a coach, not a fucking bot or some randomer. All our coaches are highly trained with people like Flow Genome Project, Flow Research Collective, Precision Nutrition, Stress Master classes. Our coaches are incredible. They're highly trained by me and highly trained by people I trust. And so things we changed this year is you get a one-to-one kickoff call when you come in, and we'll get you clear. We'll get you clear on the process, what you're doing, and how to move forward. All right, and that's really, really important to get some time with a human being to hear what you're about and to to be seen and felt, etc., etc. It's been massively helpful for the people that have come in. The second thing is you always get our app, okay, and on our app it's full of resources, things you can use, skills, practices. So we provide that app for you. And every week we get weekly live sessions. On a Sunday, we're teaching live, sorry, a Monday, we're teaching live sessions. And all the sessions are going to revolve around nervous system work, getting you out of a rut, getting you clear on your vision. But we cover so many topics. And that's where we train your skills. We're practically training skills you need, and it is world-class training in there. Okay. So every week you get two live sessions, Monday and Thursday. If you don't make them, you get replays, but it's really, really cool. The second thing you get is what we call the Academy Path. Now, that is my life's work. That is basically you get an app, our Academy app, and you work through tasks and progressions. And so you always have a task you can do. You always have your next step. The biggest problem I see with people in this thing is you think, what do I do next? What do I do this week? What should I do? You get a morning routine and that's it. So we built the path, which is you basically have an app and you move through this path. And it'd be little task after task. And you do it at your own pace, at your own time. And it guides you through restoring your energy, resetting your nervous system, building a vision. And it goes through three stages. It's progressive. It's like having when you walk in a gym and you work with a personal trainer, you get a plan. We give you a plan to follow in this app. And it is incredible. It's how we get all our results. And the main thing is, you've always got something. If you go, oh, what do I do? You open up your app and go, ah, here's my next step. I've got to do this meditation. I've got to do this. I've got to do this. It is what it's all about, and it's super effective. All right. The other thing you get is we send you a printed journal straight to your door. Now, we've got a brand new journal that you're going to get. I wish I could show it you, but it's over there. I forgot to bring it over. But you're going to get this great, in fact, I'll bring it over real quick. You get a great box. Yes, you do. Excuse me. So we send you this box out in the post. Now, I haven't got the new journal in there. These are our old ones. We got some brand new journals, which are really nice, really great feel. You get a journal sent printed to your door. You get that to guide you along through the course. All right. It's £99 a month. You can cancel any time. You get a 30-day money back guarantee, meaning if you come in and you do the work and you go, I haven't got anything from this, I've done everything you asked, full refund, no messing about. All right. Up until Tuesday, we're giving away this starter pack, which is we're going to give you a course for free that you get to keep forever. It's called a vision building course. You'll have that forever. You'll never lose it. It'll just be in your app. You'll get it. We're going to give you a journal mastery course, which is a daily system to help you get less overwhelmed, more calm. We're going to give you a copy of my book, How to Be Less Shit. You're going to get that. You're also going to get a copy of Becoming Unbreakable. And you get to keep these. These are things, and that starter pack is worth £100. We're giving you the first month for free, basically. And so you get all these things, all right? But more importantly, you get the systems, you get the support, you get the guidance, and you get absolutely everything you need to make the changes. You get my 12 years experience, the resources we built, and all the support you can need to make it happen. All right. And so that's how it works. Now, any questions about anything we've covered tonight? I will send the replay, or the team will. Um, I'll put the link in here because some of you will ask me for the link, guaranteed. We always send the link to sign up out, but I'm going to put it in the comments anyway. But I'm happy to answer any questions about absolutely anything. If you want to sign up now, there's the link. If you want to sign up tomorrow, whatever it may be. But I'm happy to cover any questions. I've got 10 minutes. Um, Anything about anything tonight, anything about absolutely anything. I never do standalone Q&As. So this is our chance. You don't have to put it in the Q&A box. You can put it in the chat box. You know what, Sue? That's a fantastic question. No one ever asks that. Is it only one call? So you get one call at the start. However, our coaches will always do calls if people get stuck. All right. Now, it is at the discretion of us, meaning some people, and we've had this, go, I get calls. I want to I want to call every week. You're like, that's not how it works, you know. But if you are somebody who's stuck and you're like, man, I don't know what I'm doing, then yeah, you get a call. You also have somebody checking in with you every week. So somebody will check in with you every week. You know, one of the coaches will say, how are you getting on, Sue? And that's when you go, well, I watched that live with Sign. I'm not sure about this. Cool, let me help you. And if they're like, yeah, let's jump on a call, it'd be easier, they'll jump on a call. So it's a good question. You get the call, but don't, not that you're asking this, I have to be clear. We don't just throw calls out every week because, because then we would be in a one-to-one course and our one-to-one courses are, in the thousands. So good question. Does that help, Sue? And is there any other questions I can help you with? And I'm happy to answer any questions about anything that's not the course as well. Don't think you have to ask me just about Academy. I'm happy to ask you anything to answer anything that's practical as well. How long does it typically take to come out of burnout? Well, it depends on the individual. That's another good question. I could be on here saying, oh, 30 days. But if someone's really deep in burnout and never done anything before, yeah, it may take a couple of months. If somebody's like, yeah, I'm just skirting around the edges, we can usually take care of that in 30 days. And, I've probably got this is completely ad hoc, but I've probably got a page I can share quickly with some people on it. We usually have a testimonial page. But, to be truthful, Emmett, you might want to drop me a line, and tell me where you're at so I can give you a good answer. But, I'd be disappointed if somebody was not out of burnout in 60 days because I've spent a huge amount of my life dedicated to getting people out of burnout. So it's like an expertise of mine. So I don't think, I don't know. Is it simple to follow? Yeah, it's very simple to follow. It's why only 2% of people drop out because we're consistent, and people are consistent in what they do. So yeah, be 100%. It's very simple to follow. It won't be as effective if it wasn't. And I mean, I can show you behind the scenes, maybe. I might do that just at the end quickly. Would that be useful if you could see inside the community, some of you? Is it open to people outside UK? Yeah. Yeah, without doubt. We've got people in America, we've got people in Norway, we've got people in obviously Ireland, that's not in the UK. But yeah, we've got people across the pond, we've got a fair few. So any other questions about that, Fiona? But I would 100% say that's we've got people all over. Because in the modern world, people watch replays, don't they? Most of our community watch the replay. Would it help if I showed you in behind the scenes a little bit? Folks, for any of you want to know that. And is there any questions about the topics we've covered tonight in general? Let me have a look. I'm trying to find a page here. Yeah, I'll show you a couple of things. Yeah, no, yeah. I tell you what, I'll show you a few people who've been through the process. Oh, I've got some Q&As here. Sorry, I'll answer these quickly. I've answered that. I've recently been diagnosed with ME, CFS. You mentioned the central nervous system. Can you help people reduce the hypersensitivity of the nervous system? Yeah, 100%. Not necessarily brain training, but nervous system work. That's a really, really useful thing. I had an autoimmune problem for a chunk of time, which no one could figure out. And a lot of it was load of the nervous system. When my daughter was born, she was really ill. She was in hospital for a chunk of time. Her mum nearly bled to death, unfortunately. She was fine in the end, but that load on my nervous system led to a huge amount of problems for a year for me. And, I did a lot of work around nervous system work. I've been a high achiever and also experienced burnout. A lot of people we work with in businesses, sort of CEOs and top teams and corporate world, are going to burn out at some point. Um, and people can't get out of it because they rest rather than recover. They just take time off, which they think, oh, I feel better. Then we go back and it kicks in again. So the key to coming out of burnout is recovery, not rest. It's very different. It's not time off, it's strengthening the nervous system. Like your body, if you want to get it stronger, you challenge it, right? You don't just have time off and do nothing. It would get weaker. Same with your nervous system. You've got to try and find ways to challenge it. And that's the key to burnout. That's the whole key. So good questions, folks. Um, just to show you quickly, just behind the scenes, I'll show you a couple of things. Um, so these are some people. Amber popped on a thing ages ago, but I met all these at the event. I mean, look at this lady here. I mean, I can send you this, but just to show you, these aren't people. These are people who've been through 5 days. This lady, God lost her home, her husband, her job in January. And that's huge, right? I mean, and there are people saying, God, this has been absolutely life changing. I know you won't be able to read this, but I think it's useful to show you. This man here, everyone who completes levels with us gets a certificate. Great bloke, absolutely great. They are stuck in a bit of a rut, tired, stressed, procrastinating. Saw one of Sai's videos about the 3-5 day. It's been a real turning point. Huge. I met this lady on the weekend, came to our event, absolutely flying. I mean, I love all this. I mean, they're just cool people. We got hundreds of these. It's nice to read actually, but we can certainly share that in the email sequence. But the other thing is, if you want to see behind the scenes, just quickly. I mean, I'll have to be careful what I show you because I don't want to show you people's stuff, to be quite honest. But if I was to show you this, and you might see. So our actual network is full of cool shit. Um, oh, come on, Sai. Tech. So this is our academy. You can see there's loads of stuff going on. You see over this far side, that's some of the sessions we've done. Regaining and building focus, emotional clearing, a central nervous system reset protocol. It's busy. People have got Q&As. There's me. Loads of people in here, just in case you wondered. Somebody's got a new challenging on there. Very supportive environment. You never know, you might see some testimonials in here. Somebody asking about chronic illnesses and migraines and how we deal with those. There's just so much stuff going on. Yeah, look at that. I'm so glad I found Unbreakable, my challenge, been pushed past the resistance, central nervous system work, people doing cool shit. I mean, there's loads of stuff. I gotta be honest. And it's all simple, it's all easy to follow. I've got a lot of messages to get back to, as you can see. But there is people doing stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not me making it up. We work with hundreds of people a month in formats. So if you're somebody who's a high performer, you're like, man, I'm just flying, I'm in a big job, you're going to want to message us about High Performance Mind. But if you're in the gray zone, and man, Academy is the one. And I'm just using tonight to try and nudge as many of you as possible off the fence, one way or the other, and say, God Almighty, commit. You've seen enough free stuff of us now. It's time to jump in or jump out, so to speak, in the nicest possible way. Um, I have lost direction in life. I'd love to find direction. Carl, I hear you, mate. Just jump in. You've got nothing to lose. If you do it and you follow the stuff and you show up and you go, I've not improved, just refund you. It's not a problem. You know what I mean? And then you just cancel. In 2 weeks, I'll be traveling Turkey, is that? For 6 weeks? That's a good question, Casey, and I really appreciate the honesty. You can do this stuff anywhere. I'm not just saying that. It's not a good move for me to get somebody in who we can't help. Can you imagine that? You're not selling someone a car, are you? Where you go, oh, see you later. You're like when you're working with somebody, it doesn't take many bad reviews to ruin for people to think, oh, what they buy. So we only want to work with people we can help. If you're there for 6 weeks, that's fine. If you were like, oh, I'm here for 2 weeks, I'd be like, oh, you're just gonna be traveling too much. Start after. But if you're like, ah, I'm here for 6 weeks, um, no, it's gonna be fine, absolutely fine. Um, it's not an excuse; it's a reason. But I think you can make it a reason to actually work. And I often say to people, if you're going away in a new environment, brilliant. Your nervous system loves novelty. If you want to strengthen your nervous system, give it novelty, give it all that stuff, and it will massively, massively, massively help it. So actually, not if you're there for 6 weeks, I don't know if you're working or traveling, that's going to be a good thing. I've worked all over the world and suddenly have no confidence. Yeah, I would 100% imagine that's because you're burnout. Burnout ruins self-esteem. So many high achieving, successful people hit a patch of being completely burnt out, and their nervous system starts questioning, am I good at my job? Am I a good person? Yeah. And then they're like, oh my God, I'm losing confidence. And they try and fix it cognitively when it's always a nervous system issue, hands down. Any tips to stay consistent? With what is the question? But consistency comes down to having a plan, having one that's simple and doable and probably too easy. Consistency comes down to how do I generate momentum, rather than trying to take on the impossible. A lot of inconsistency is I'm trying to do something that's too hard. The other thing is don't confuse consistency with perfection. People think they're the same, they're not. If you're trying to be perfect, you'll never be consistent. Um, it just won't happen. But consistency is about nailing down simple things you can do, accepting that it's not going to look, your best will not look the same every day. Um, and not confuse, like I said, not confusing it with perfection. If you want the overall broad scheme, find something you can do, make it easy. Yeah, we teach that. Our whole system's based on how can you make something simple, easy, and powerful, That's the whole idea. How many hours work in 30 days? I don't know, Fiona. Yeah, it all depends. It's like how many, I suppose, like how many times do I have to train to lose weight? Um, I suppose the key to this is if I was to put a number on it, you probably want a half hour a day. If you can dedicate a half hour a day to you, you can make massive progress. That's what I would say. If you ain't got a half hour, you need to find it. You need to make it because nothing's going to change, right? But if you could say, I've got a half hour to work on me, you're going to see a huge difference. And yeah, rumination is high cognitive load, high mental load, churning around the same things. And it's the key to ending rumination is to make decisions and get better at making decisions and make decisions quicker and commit to things. It's learn to calm your mind down, reduce the amount of information you're carrying. All those, if you can build in tactics and techniques around that, rumination tends to end. Yeah. No, no, no drama, Darren. I've spoken to you a million times. Folks, this is the question, all the questions I'm going to cover here. Well, hang on. Do you have people who have perfectionism? Yeah, of course, yeah. That just sort of rolls with it. Where does perfectionism come from? Many different ways for different people, but a lot of it is this fear, like needing to prove ourselves to be good enough. Sometimes it's a control thing. It depends what it is, but if you build a healthy nervous system and learn how to use your mind, you're going to let go of that. A lot of perfectionism is this need to prove ourselves, you know. It's not all perfectionism. That would be a very broad statement. But yeah, of course, pretty much most people who roll into our work are going to in some way be a bit of a perfectionist. It's driving their energy. So what I would say from here, folks, is any questions, hit us up, get in WhatsApp, get in. We'll follow people up over the next few days. And I've been direct tonight and try to challenge you and you can see we're falling back into a lot of patterns, which is I need a nugget of information. I need a nugget. What's the nugget? If I just got this nugget, shit will change. Where's the nugget? but it's not a nugget of information. It's brilliant, Paul. Love it. It is um, it's actually committing to yourself and stop bullshitting yourself a little bit and get going. Stop circling around the same decisions and become aware that very often we think we know what to do, but we don't. We're doing the wrong stuff. And if we do know what to do it, very often we're not very good at it. And that's okay, but we need to get better at it. And very often we don't know what we want. And very often we're talking ourselves out of stuff. Um, and if it's these things we want to get a handle on, forget everything else. Absolutely forget everything else. It's those things. All right. So until then, until the next time, have a wonderful, brilliant Paul. I love that. I didn't even pay you to say that. Like a spa membership for your brain. Some might be better. Until then, any questions, hit me up, and I shall see you on the other side.